Welcome to Blueprint, everyone. We've had to move the show. This is Katalyst. Kate, as we know her on a personal. She's our special guest. It is season 2, and this is our 4th episode of season 2. We've had a few guests already. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hug.
I'm excited.
There you go.
Thank
nice to
you.
meet you again and see you
Yeah.
finally.
Yay.
Kate's played on a couple of our shows. She played, I can't remember what show it was now.
The Lost Horizons one
Yes.
in Bristol.
Do you know what I'm
With the
saying?
band.
So that was with our live band, and Kate came down to see the live band, and oh my gosh, like Blueprint, we're here. So apologies for Tuesday. There was a bit of confusion with the dates, and bless Kate, she thought it was the 12th of October, and then I was like, "Where are you?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, it's not till next month." So we had a bit of a laugh about that, and then we were like, "Look, can we just like maybe move my Dreadcast show?" Because I'm here week in, week out. So we thought we'd bring everyone into the feed. Welcome on all social media platforms. This is our very special guest today, Katalyst. Amazing DJ. I'm gonna take it back to when we first met, which is, oh my God, it was 2015 or 2016.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago now.
So that was at Elusive Festival when
Yes.
I played.
I did your artist liaison.
That's right, and there was Holly as well. She was
Yeah,
stage manager, Holly
yeah.
May, and Holly's played for us in the past. And then we were all talking, and then I said to you guys, "Come and listen to my track that's coming on my album, which is You're My Angel." And that was the first time I'd sung on a track. And these guys were in the back of the car. I was really mad.
It was a very surreal moment.
It really
but it was great.
They were like, "What?" They were like, "Is this you?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I was so excited I'd recorded this. But since then, both you and Holly were DJing and just started out DJing.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'd started DJing then. I think I could mix.
Yeah,
And then, because you came and played at a night in Bristol as well, and we all had a mix together
that's
afterwards.
right. Yeah.
But then, yeah, it was kind of after that I actually started DJing.
And what
I just fell into
inspired
it.
you? Yeah, into that whole jungle world and D&B world. What was the first record that you'd heard?
Well, the first CD I ever bought was the Andy C. Nightlife album, the very first one.
Wow.
That I remember
What
somebody
year
had
was
that
that?
at school, 2003 or 4, I think.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it just kind of all went from there. Like, that was obviously, they had quite a lot of jungle on it, but also drum and bass as well. So I used to like rock and metal before that, as well as like grime and garage and stuff. So it's kind of like fusing loads of elements together that I really enjoyed listening to. And I was like, what the hell is this? And then ever since then, I've been hooked.
So, and there's a lot of people that have been born from that era, either Bish, Gardiner.
Yeah.
Like you guys are
Yeah.
like the new school that kind of came up. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Because I guess that pot of melting pot of music. What were you listening to at home, Kate? Like when you were growing up, what were your influences?
Mainly like rock music and like a bit of punk. And I used to love garage as well, like because that
Was
was
that your
kind of
mum,
like the
your
more
dad, or
party
was
music.
that just
No.
what you liked?
Yeah, my mum and dad.
No grunge.
No, not really. They liked music with instruments in it, if you know what
Right,
I mean. But
yeah.
it was kind of just that kind of more popular music for the time they growing
And
up.
what was the attraction to metal?
Well, I learnt to play lots of instruments at school. So I used to play the clarinet and the violin, and then the drums and guitar and the piano.
Wow.
So kind of like went one after the other. So I think that's why. That was just kind of like what my friends were into, and they used to do little gigs down at the local youth club that I used to go to when I was about 14. So that just kind of, yeah. And then I found drum and bass and started going raving, which was
Which
great.
helps, yeah.
And I still like, I like everything. I love all music, but because I find different genres really like evoke different emotions, and I
Yes.
like that. Depending on what mood you're in, you might want to listen to something different. But
So how old was you when you sneaked out to your first dance?
I think
Like
I
your
was-
first jungle drum and bass dance?
They used to do therapy sessions nights in Oxford. It was called the Zodiac then, but it's the O2 now. I think I was about 16, 17 and I used to go to AWOL as well in London, and then started going to free parties and things like that as well. Because obviously back then they didn't care so much about ID.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, they're
They're
scanning
right.
IDs,
Yeah.
they're really on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But back
yeah.
then it didn't really matter. So
And you got brought up in Oxford.
yeah.
Because we were just talking off air, and we were saying that the Coven, myself and Nikki, were always there already. and that was like a centre point for Oxford. I mean,
Yeah.
so many DJs came out of that era,
Yeah.
and we were playing there regularly. Did you go to any?
great.
Did you go to any? Parties
Yeah, they used to have like the first weekend of the month they'd have the Kinetic Nights, which was all drum and bass, which were the ones you probably came and played at, and then they'd have Baraka, which was like psytrance night, and they'd decorate it all crazy, and they'd have chai tea and sweets for people and stuff like that. It was really cool. And then they'd have like a residence thing, and then they'd have Project Storm, which is like techno and trance and stuff, on the last weekend of the month. So we just used to spend every weekend there. It was like our home. It was great. I really miss those days.
And then when I did meet you'd had a toddler. So you said to me she's like 11 now,
Yeah,
right?
she just started secondary school.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she's come to her first festivals with me this year. We've
Wow.
been to 5 festivals together.
Really?
So, yeah.
So how was that?
She loves it. I drove home from Boomtown on the Saturday night and drove back with her on the Sunday. That was like the biggest one she came to this year. Spent the day there, did all the like little tasks and things. You know, they have all the crazy stuff, and yeah, she got to see people she'd never seen before and loves, like A Little Sound, and Chasing Status, and you know, she listens to drum and bass all the time, so it's quite nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and she could see what I do, and she was like, "Mummy, I really think you're famous because people keep screaming I love you when you're playing." It's like, they don't know who I am, they just like what I'm playing.
And I noticed, finding your place within this mad world that we live in. You have made a really good name for yourself, because we've been on quite a few flyers together. You've been putting in the grafting. It's not like you just came like the other day, and you come off of social media. You've played at a lot of places. I mean, every time I go to Bristol, I always see your name popping up, which is really good. You've played for us as well.
Yeah.
Who gave you your first break?
Well, I just started getting my first set was actually like a bass and like breaks and bass line and that kind of and garage set. I just didn't really feel like I could say no, because I wasn't a very assertive person, and I didn't really want to be playing out to people, and so I played that set. And
where was that?
That was in Reading.
Okay.
I can't remember the venue now. A tiny little place above a chip shop. But yeah, that was really cool. And then I loved it, and they loved it, and then I got booked again. And then I got booked again, and I just kept getting booked after that, and I was so excited.
And you were still playing that genre of music? Or you
No, after that it was just drum and bass.
Okay.
It was just that set. I have been booked for a couple of multi-genre sets, but yeah, I think because I was putting up clips and things on my Facebook, being like, oh wow, I can actually mix. And I had a boyfriend at the time. We had like a little bit of a... It wasn't a competition, but it was like I put up a clip of him and a clip of me, and like, which blend do you prefer the most, kind of thing. And like, it was more of like a joke or like a bit of fun. And then I started realising I had quite a lot of potential, and I really enjoyed it. And obviously, having a child, I can't just be going out every weekend and spending money going to those places, and eventually people started to want to pay me, so I was like, okay, this is great. If I can go and earn a little bit of money, I don't feel so guilty leaving my child. And yeah, now
well, it helps the world go around, and single mum doing what you need to do, that's amazing.
So yeah, no, it's good. I feel really lucky. Yeah, my first event that I played at with a headliner was with Dillinger, and I was just like so happy to be on an event with him, because I used to love him. That was in Oxford at the Bullingdon.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I just can't even count the amount of amazing opportunities I've had. I just feel so lucky.
And have you played abroad?
Yep, I played at Outlook in Croatia this year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was amazing with the EQ50 guys, because I'm doing a mentorship with them and Ram Records, so that was really good. I've played in Prague. I played at Beats for Love Festival in Ostrava.
Okay.
That was amazing. That was like, I don't know if you've seen like what it's like there or been there, but it's like an old industrial kind of like area in the middle of town, like an old steelworks. Yeah, it was really interesting venue.
Tell us a little bit more about the mentorship, please.
Yeah.
We'll get the Facebook up shortly on this screen, and when you start to DJ later on, we'll have quite a bit of reaction from people. But let's go back to this mentorship, because I think it's really important as someone breaking through. it's not just about DJing now, right?
No.
It's about having other platforms to work on, whether it would be, like you said, either artist liaison, stage manager, because that gives you more confidence and more bookings, and everybody's kind of on the same circuit, so you get to meet people. So tell me about a little bit about the RAM apprenticeship.
So I applied for it obviously last year, and I wasn't like sure I was going to get through because I was still quite new to production, and there are obviously so many great producers that people don't even know about, and I thought, I'm probably not going to get through, and I didn't really know if I suited the labels that they had on there at the time. And then I saw my insights, and I kept seeing, why is Ram Records listening to my demos, because they're not on the mentorship this year. And then they got announced suddenly as a new label for the mentorship, and I was like, oh my god, I might actually be in with a chance. And then I had a couple of interviews, and one with Audio Porn as well, who were great, and I would have been so happy to go with either label. But I got picked by Ram, so I've been working with Cyran, two brothers, Josh and James. They're really, really nice. They've been giving me loads of production lessons. I've had a couple with Filth as well. And Flight is my mentor, so she's great. She's just to be able to work, with a legend like that is like, amazing. So I've got a release hopefully coming out with Ram, I think on Programme, hopefully by the end of the year. And I just.
And do they help you put the tune together?
No, it's something it was actually one of my demos that I put through for the mentorship. So. And
they help you finish that? No,
I just got a better master on it, a louder master, luckily, and I put a few more effects on the vocals, but that was all they asked for, so I was like, yay, thank goodness. So I've been really enjoying it. It's just quite hard to, obviously I work 3 days a week as a physio, I do my gigs at the weekend, I've got my daughter, so trying to find the time for everything can be a struggle sometimes.
And tell us a little bit about how you make music, if you don't mind.
So I work on Ableton. That seems to be, I had a little go on Logic too, but I don't have an Apple computer at home, so it's like when I'd sat with other people, and I use a mixture of sort of samples and presets, and I just kind of like sit down and think, how do I feel today? And then I'll just start writing. I know people are like, oh, you should use a reference track, but I use that later on when I've made the track. I'll use that for like a mix down, but I don't really. If I sit with a reference track, I'll end up just trying to remake that track, and then it's not really, to me, that's not something original, like something that's come from, like, inside me, if that feels, I
think music is very much your own stamp, and I think if you want to be an individual and stand out, and that's probably why they signed you, Kate, because you're not watching what everybody else is doing. I got mentioned. I got mentioned on Lorraine this week because my mate works. He's a BBC presenter, and actually last year he wanted to reconnect with the music. His name's Ross Atkins. I don't know if you know.
Yeah. I have heard of
so he mentioned me on Lorraine. He was like, Ray Keith's my hero. And I was like, wow, thank you for the love.
Amazing.
So he came here last year because we did a party together, and I just, because he was obviously a vinyl DJ and he hadn't used decks or CDJs. So basically, we just gave him a quick school up for a couple of hours, and obviously he was flying, and then we played at a party together. So big up Ross Atkins. Amazing. We love you, brother. This is the blueprint. This is the next generation of the blueprint. This is Katalyst right now. If you've just tuned in, we're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on every social media we can accommodate, if you like. And we're talking to Katalyst about her production right now, where she's come. She's a new generation D&B jungle, and we're talking about how this has actually helped you being an individual artist. But I think also, Kate, the reason why you're getting booked is because you have got an individual style. What's that place that we played at in Brixton? Not Brixton, Bristol, and you was put on after me or before me, and it was banging in there.
Was it Lakota?
No, it was that small club past Lakota.
Crofters' Rights.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Who was
Did I go back to back with Gray or Gore or something
yeah,
like that? I think
and maybe. I think it was Gore. Yeah. And it was banging in there. Would you not remember the promoters?
Was it for Rumble? Someone
No.
else.
No, it was another independent guy. They'll probably not be happy that we remembered them, but thank you very much for the
Yeah,
work.
thank you.
But
We love
that's
you.
why when I saw you there and you were just letting off and you're doing a back-to-back, I was like, right, I only saw my girl a couple of years ago and she just started. And then suddenly you're like knee deep in it and I'm like, what the hell? Because I played after you guys. So that journey and with the production and everything, I mean, have you started to do radio and stuff? Have you been doing a lot of streaming?
So during lockdown I had a lot of streams, and I've just seen someone mention on there about my streams with Maddie V on Run Things.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
So yeah, we did. Obviously
We got Maddie
during
V, you
lockdown,
know,
yeah.
like we've had Maddie on the show before. Bellyman brought her over,
Oh,
so
lovely.
yeah, she's very sweet. So Maddie V, we love you. Tell us a little bit about that combo because that
was great. Yeah, it was like, well, Runtings wanted me to do, because I'm working for them running the label now as well, but they wanted me to do a radio show during lockdown, so we had content, and they were getting other guests in, but we did like a regular one, and I needed an MC, and they thought, why don't you work with Maddie? And yeah, she came down. It was just going to be the one-off one with her, and then she loved it, so we just started doing it together every month, and it was great.
Runtings was, big up the Runtings crew, because right through lockdown, like us, obviously down south, we were, and R.I.P. Skipper, there was a few of us that were regularly there, and there were platforms like this one and a few other radio stations that kind of kept us going. I wanted to ask you, how did you deal with the whole pandemic, and how did that affect you, mental health? I mean, obviously we were all locked off. Spent more time obviously with the little one, so that was good.
Yeah, I was at uni at the time as well, training to be a physio, so
that went
placements-
online, did it?
Yeah, well, they just cancelled it for a bit, from like, I think the April, our placements that we were on, they got cut short, and then I felt a little bit lost, to be honest, at first. It was really hard, and I was going through some other personal stuff at the time, and I just ended up, so when I learned to mix, it was because I was going through a really hard time, and I just wanted something to focus on, like something that took my mind off of thinking about everything else, and that's how I actually learned to mix. So I just kind of took a bit of that back and was like, okay, I'm just going to really focus on my music and things that make me feel good. And lockdown was actually quite good for me, really, because I was doing streams all the time. I'd have sometimes 5 streams over a weekend that I was doing at home for various different platforms. So it helped build my following.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of people think I came from live streams because of that, because they found out about me through that. They didn't realise I was actually doing it for a few years before then. But I don't mind. I don't really mind.
But any
you know.
platform, I think right now
Yeah.
it's good to get that exposure,
Yeah.
and also it helps to build the fan base. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you reach people all around the world, which we weren't doing before when we were just going to play gigs. You know, I was only playing in England, so to actually get a big following and, you know, sort of be respected in other countries and stuff, it was really nice. It was a really good way, and I think it's really important in this day and age now, even though we're not in lockdown, for people to have that online presence, as frustrating as it can be sometimes.
yeah, everyone's on their phone, but at the same time using it in a positive way and using that platform.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you being a physio then. So what kind of was that something that you'd always wanted to do, or you fell into, or?
Yeah, well, I learnt to drive so I could be a carer in like 2010. I was about 21 then, and then I started working in a hospital a few years later, and then I was a therapy assistant in the hospital, and I just felt like I wanted to do more to help, so I decided I wanted to be a physio and went to uni. But yeah, the physio and the DJing all started at the same time. And
so you've been juggling both.
yeah, but it's been quite nice, because I do feel like the skills I learned at uni, I've been able to kind of put into practice with my music as well, which has probably helped turn it more into like, not a business, but like having that kind of more structured mindset.
Yeah, and taking it more seriously, I guess, and actually having a timetable to make everything fit in.
Yeah, and learn as well, like learning how I learn, so I can learn that like I learn, you know, the physio stuff. So.
And tell me about how you pick your music and where you get your music from. Obviously, you get them from labels, but what do you choose, or what do you like in a track? What's the difference, i.e. Katalyst doing an A&Ring and going, well, yeah, that's going to fit in what I do. What do you like, and what do you listen to?
So as you, from listening back to my mixes, I definitely prefer the darker sounds. Definitely loads of jungle in my mixes as well. If I listen to something and I like it, then I'll usually play it or try and find somewhere for it to fit, if that makes sense. But yeah, I get sent a lot of music. I'm on obviously quite a few promo lists, which is really good. Yeah, just kind of like I'd go on Juno sort of once a month or Beatport and just have a look at what's about that I might not have been sent, or just kind of like have a flick through everywhere really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, this is another thing that Ross Atkins was saying, and it's actually true. Like, I mean, I know there's a different generation of youngsters coming through, and it is pretty kind of drug driven with that type of sound, I guess. But that's their era. That's where they've come from. Whereas I feel that our generation and your generation, there's got to be a beginning and a middle and an end, and there needs to be a bit more of a story rather than just banging it out.
Yeah, that's it. I do mix quite quickly, but my sets kind of, I feel like, or I try and put the effort in to make them flow in a really good way, so it's not like all over the place. And I do let some tunes play on their own, and you know, sometimes I won't mix as quickly as others, but I feel like as a listener I like to hear quite a lot going on, but I like it to make sense. If that makes sense.
Yeah. There's got to be a story. Do you know what I mean? Like anything.
Yeah.
Have you ever turned up at a gig and then thought, oh blimey, I've forgotten my USBs? Or what's the maddest thing that's ever happened?
That for a live stream once. That
No.
was quite stressful. Yeah. I had another USB, but not the USB that I wanted to use. And I just didn't feel, I like to be a little bit prepared.
Of course.
I like chunks of tunes that I know fit well together, especially to start me off, and then I can kind of be a bit more, sort of creative with it. But touch wood, I haven't forgotten them for a gig yet, but on my way to all gigs I'm like, where are my USBs, and I'll check like a million times that I've got them, because that would be so stressful, especially if you're like hours away and you haven't got time to drive home and then drive back again. Yeah.
So you haven't had any major touch wood moments?
No, not yet, I don't think. Oh, obviously it wasn't that bad if it happened, because I can't remember it now.
You can't remember it. There you go. And what's your favourite place to play? Like you know that you can just go there and be you and not worry about anything at all. Like
in my
your
bedroom. In my bedroom.
And that's the freest that you can like. I bet because sometimes I'm at home and I don't necessarily have a mix, only when I'm playing house, and sometimes I'm in the at home by myself, and I'm like, let me throw in some old house tunes. But would you say that's like where you can just be what you want to be? Do you feel there's a little bit of pressure as a new artist sometimes?
Yeah.
Because it's quite competitive, because obviously for us lot, we've been in it now, and obviously being pioneers and helping shape what you guys are doing, and it has that knock-on effect, which is lovely. I feel there's no pressure on us, because we started with records and then we obviously went with the digital. But do you feel as an artist, and maybe even as a female, that sometimes there's a lot of pressure on you guys?
There is. Sort of in the female aspect, there's a lot of pressure as, they get sets because they're doing this with whoever, or, like sexually and things like that, or they dress in a certain way, or girls are better at putting pictures online, or things like that. I do feel like there is quite a lot of that, and it can be a little bit soul destroying at times when you're not that kind of person, but there's always going to be someone that's got something to say, and that's what I've learned, just to ignore it. Like the people I've got, people like you giving me these opportunities, and Randall, and respects what I do, and IC3 jumped on my set at Elusive the other day because he loves the way I play. I've got people that I looked up to growing up respecting what I do, and to me that means more than that person over there who wants to try and say that,
I think the problem is with social media is, and I guess even with everyone makes records, there's no quality control. And also we need to be mindful, and definitely mindful more so now, on what you might say to someone may affect them, because on the radio station, I'm a big believer in, we need to put more love in the world. Forget about the negativeness. You know, music's supposed to make you feel better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's supposed to make you feel free.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I do feel that there's a lot of pressure on youngster, the younger generation coming through, because they're trying to fit in some of the shoes, and sometimes it's hard to navigate through all the rubbish. But you got to keep doing what you're doing, because that's why we love you. You're individual, you're amazing, your sets are good, and it's good to be versatile, because I like it when I mean, when we had that set afterwards and you and Holly were playing, it was just dark.
Yeah.
I was loving it.
Yeah,
it was just rolling, and I was sitting in there, and I was like, and then we only had a little USB controller we played somewhere, and I was like, these girls are killing it. So Holly, because Holly jumped on a few good shows, I championed her on some of the Blueprint shows, and you'd only just started to DJ then. Yeah. So look how far you've come. You're smashing it.
Thank
you must be so happy.
I am, yeah, honestly, because I never expected it either. So each opportunity, I'm like, oh, wow, really? You know, like, it never gets tiring. It doesn't matter where the gig is, like whether it's to like 50 capacity venue or like 5,000, I'm just like, yay, every time.
And what does your family think? What does your have you got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got lots of brothers and sisters actually, and they're really happy. My mum's always sharing my stuff online. It's really sweet. And like my dad and my stepmum, they live in Hertfordshire, so I don't see them as much. And like my mum loves music. They love music, but I didn't really feel like they would really maybe like what I do as much, if that makes sense. But they love it, and they came with me to Electric Woodlands Festival last year, and they were like dancing, and like it was just to have my family support what I do is like the best feeling.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Benny L took his mum to Australia on tour, and Blade Runner just took his mum to America, because one of my guys hit me up and said, yeah, Blade Runner's here with his mum, and I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Like, that's what you should do, is take your mum with you.
It's perks of the job, really, isn't it? That you can take them with you, because I can take them to my normal
and
job.
I think it's so sweet, because bless my mum, when she was here, I used to go to her house, and she used to love, like, she had all my CDs by her stereo, and I was like, wow, mum. And then she used to ask me, play me little snippets, and said, can you do something with this? It was Demis Roussos. Not that you wouldn't even know who that is, but he's a Greek songwriter, and he was really famous back in the 60s, 70s and 80s. And I looked at her and I said, Mum, I don't think I can really do anything with that one. But she came to some of the dances when I was playing soul, rare groove and jazz.
Aww.
Who has helped you along this journey, Kate, that you would maybe like to say thank you, who supported you, who's believed in you? I mean, the belief comes from yourself,
I'm
right?
scared I'm going to forget someone.
No, you don't have to be. Listen, we're already apologising if Kate forgets, because we're human. But who's kind of like, yeah, had your back, and it's just opened the door for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
and maybe like Flight mentored you, because that's, it's really important to have good people in your corner, because it feels like the baton's been handed in the right way, and also there are pitfalls, like don't do this, avoid doing that, do this, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it helps.
yeah.
Because there's no guideline, is there, to being a self-made DJ?
No.
And no one teaches you how to deal with fame. No one teaches you how to deal with then how you have to act on social media, what you can say, what you can't say, and be thoughtful. So, I guess whether it's your family or whatever.
Yeah, my family. I've got a few really good friends that DJ as well, like Amma and Frenetic and Luna. Like I speak to them all the time, and we're always kind of like hyping each other up, and excited for each other, and giving each other advice and sharing experiences, and I'm really grateful for them. And then like people like Runtings, who they've given me a platform to be able to show what I do, and Rumble in the Jungle. I've played for them now for years and years and years. We played on a show when we were, I think, earlier on this year. We was there, weren't we? Yeah. In when it was still clubs. Yeah, before the summer. Yeah, you know, they're constantly supporting me. I've got back to back with DJ Hybrid next weekend in Sheffield with them, which is I'm so excited for. Yeah, so yeah, just everyone that's been a part of my journey, really. Even the people that haven't been very nice, like, I have to thank them, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for all the experiences that I've had, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. And I've learned a lot of resilience, and a lot more kind of like self-love because of it as well.
I think that's really important. I think the music business sometimes can chew you up and spit you out, but you're a very rounded person. You should be very proud of yourself, Kate, and what you've achieved. No, it's a great achievement, you know, and this is what we recognise on the show. We try and give a platform to artists coming through, and I think that's really important, because you are the next generation, and you're the next generation of producers. We have to salute that. And I think it's really important as well to put the right message out there for other females. All of those other DJs, are they female that you mentioned?
Yeah.
Right. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a takeover with all of them and you, and get them to come on the show.
They'd love
so
that.
talk, yeah, and listen, we're going to arrange that before the end of the year, because I am doing a Dread takeover. And maybe you guys can come in on that, and that's another great platform to come down on. So I'm hoping to. Well, I need to speak to management, but I think we're going to do that over December, like a Christmas Dread bash.
That would be great.
So we'll do that, and thank you for coming to support us for the live show, because.
Thank you for asking me. Honestly, like you. Yeah.
No,
So
we wanted you to come along, and you know, you've made a huge impact on what you're doing, and that was our first show, and then we did Boomtown afterwards.
That was amazing. We need to get you at Elusive next year.
No, definitely. We're just, you know what, we're just growing into it, and I guess because I've been DJing for nearly like 35, 40 years, it's a long time, you know?
Yeah.
And now to bring that music to life and actually be an artist, that's been amazing. So thank you for your love and support. But going back to the people that you were thanking, you were talking about the guys in Bristol Runtings.
Yeah.
Anyone else that's opened the door for you?
Oh God, there probably is. I probably should.
What about music-wise, like engineering-wise? There was a couple of people.
So Siran, who have been giving me all of these free lessons, basically. So they've been helping me with my mix downs a little bit on my most recent work. And we've gone through, like, we've broken down some of their tracks, and they've shown me what they do and how they write their music. And they're just so supportive. And now I send Josh all my stuff to master for me as well, because he's so great at what he does, and they're so humble. I managed to get them a set at Elusive this year to say thank you for what they've done, which was really nice. It was their first festival. They've never played at a festival before, so it felt really special seeing them up there.
Yeah, of course, and that's what we're supposed to do, is put something back.
Yeah. And Livy's dad as well, to be fair, you know, he's always been really supportive. He'll take time to show me things if I'm stuck on something, and he pops around to pick her up, because he's an amazing musician. He actually was in a live drum and bass band. So if you ever need any more people, let me know, because he plays everything. Wow. But yeah, he'll have Livy for me to go to gigs, and he'll support what I do, which is nice, because we're not together. We haven't been together for 10 years, so it's and you know, it can be difficult co-parenting sometimes, but he really appreciates what I do, and I'm so grateful for that.
Well, that's good, man.
Yeah.
You need a good partnership. I think it's nice, even if something like that breaks down, that you're there for Libby. Do you know what I mean? Oh, bless her. She's 11 now. And what was her first day?
As tall as me.
What? And what was her first day at school? Did you have to leave her at the gate?
No, she gets the bus. So I dropped her off actually in the morning, but she won't let me drop her off or pick her up anywhere near school, so she gets the bus most of the time. Okay. She doesn't want to be seen with me.
Nice and
even though I'm a cool mum.
No, that's lovely. Just before we get you on the decks, I wanted to touch base on what would you say to any young producer, male or female, gender neutral, what would your advice be from the journey that you've been on? What would be maybe the 3 or 4 things that you would say to them if you were giving them a bit of advice?
Okay, so have no expectations, but back yourself at the same time. Like
I
it's
have another
hard.
job or a career, or so you're doing it for fun and not putting all your eggs in one basket.
I think so. I think it's really hard if you're like, especially now, you know, you think, oh, I want to do that, and that's fair enough. Like, I'm not saying don't try and achieve your dreams at all, but just be open-minded and don't have too many expectations, because I think you can get disappointed if you don't necessarily, you know, get something that you want, but then you might get something else that you didn't realise you wanted, and that's still just as great. You know, it's that kind of like just have fun with it, go with it, have a backup if you can, because it's a bit like this sometimes.
Well, you need to pay bills, and I was only having this same conversation with my daughter, who has got a corporate job, and she loves fashion.
Okay.
And she makes clothes, and she's done some amazing stuff. Yeah, both of them, like, they're super talented. So Mia and Lola, I love you. But I think that's really important, really sensible to say, because I think you need to have a fallback plan. And it's funny, because I was in my acting class yesterday, and it's like, it's good to have hope, but don't be disappointed when that hope doesn't come, because it might take you longer to learn than somebody else, or more time to digest it. And that's what's happening with me, because I'm obviously doing acting, and I don't come from an acting background, so there's a lot of things that's missing for me. Do you know what I mean? Because I haven't kind of gone through the system. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you, when you're being re-educated, it's like you're playing catch up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then or it might take you a few times. Do you think that it was with your mixing when you first started? Was it instant, or was it hard work? How long did you put into that?
Well, years and years and years ago, before I could actually mix, I used to buy records for my boyfriend to play at the time, and I used to try and mix two tunes together. One of them was Signal, and that's such a hard tune to mix anyway. No wonder I just thought, I'm rubbish at this, because I can't mix this one tune into this tune. And then I just kind of didn't bother. And then when I started having friends around, and they'd bring their decks and things like that at the weekend, and then I'd just sort of jump on because they were doing it. I thought, why not? I'll have a little go. And I was actually like, all right, they were quite surprised. And then, so when I actually put the time and effort into mixing, you know, when I had that time off work and I wasn't feeling great, luckily I already kind of knew what I was doing. So then it was just like polishing up a little bit, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I do feel like I was a natural, which otherwise I probably wouldn't have bothered with it so much if it was too hard work.
And what advice would you give somebody, like we were saying, that those couple of pointers that you pointed out? What about music? Like, how would you tell them to be with their music? Like
just play whatever you like and what you want, and don't always think, oh, because those people are playing that and lots of people like them, I'm going to play what they play, because that might not work for you. And I do feel like you can see through it when something's not natural, if you know what I mean. As a listener, you know, I feel like you can really, if somebody's really putting their heart and soul into it, you can feel it when you're listening. You know, you can hear it. Whereas I think if you're doing something just for the sake of doing something because you think other people are going to like it, it's never going to be as, I don't know, maybe it's just my feelings, but I don't feel like it's ever going to be as good, because
it's not you
know.
Because I think we get that you're very individual, and I think that's what really works for you, Kate. So don't stop doing what you're doing.
One day
if you've just joined us, this is the Blueprint. We are on season 2, episode 4, I believe. We're doing like 10 episodes. So thanks very much for coming in. I know we had a little bit of a mishap earlier in the week, but we was just cool. It was like, oh no, and you were so apologetic. So I was like, mate, we need to just get her on straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would not have missed this for the world.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us what your all your social media handles are, if people want to reach you, if they want to find you, if they want to buy your music?
Yeah, it's just at and then Katalyst with a K, DNB, like drum and bass. And that's on everything, Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook. I do have TikTok. I sometimes post on it. Not very often. It's a bit
maybe more for the youngsters. And also, what have you got coming up? Like, can you believe we're in September, babe?
Oh, I know. I'm kind of looking
Not long
forward
till
to-
Christmas, you know.
But at least the rubbish weather kind of forces us all inside of it more, doesn't it? So I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's been a very hectic summer. I think I've done like 13 festivals. So
That's good.
yeah, it's good. But yeah, a bit tiring now because I've been working the whole time too. But yeah, it's fine. I've got a few shows. I've got a few Jungle Cake shows coming up, which will be good. The Drum Sheds, Worried About Henry in the City. I'm playing at that
good.
with B-Dubs. So she's amazing.
B-Dubs!
Yeah.
We love you.
We do.
Yeah, and Enemy MC as well. Those
The
girls
sickest.
there, man.
Yeah,
they're
she is the
they're
sickest.
played at loads of our shows. Do you know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
just, I've spoke to both of them.
Yeah.
Well, I messaged V-Dubs and I spoke to actual Enemy. She's going to come to hopefully the show that we're playing in Brixton.
Amazing.
And just lastly, before we go, what does Katalyst do on her days off?
I thought of one more shout out I need to
Go on.
shout out. King Youth. He has been an
King Youth.
absolute, he's been my biggest supporter and so good for advice over the last few years. Like
Yes.
we made a tune together, came out on Biological Beats last year, I think. And we were quite good friends before that, and then we made that song together, and since then he's just been so supportive. Like he's just I can't believe I even forgot to mention him
He's doing
earlier.
label management for Jungle Mania now.
Yeah, so another person I need to shout out, Bridge. Like he's given me some great bookings this year.
Okay, big up
So
Bridge.
thanks for the support.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
And Elliot,
I'll be like mid-mix, like I just want to thank so and so. People.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
No, sorry.
What was I saying?
Uh,
Oh yeah, where are you going to be like towards the end of the year?
Towards the end of the year. Well, December's looking a bit quiet, so if anyone wants to book me in December, then hit me up. I'm hoping to go on a holiday at some point. That would be nice.
Oh no, that's what I was saying. What does Kate do on her days off? What have you? Yeah.
My what?
Do you not have a hobby? Do you not have some time for yourself?
I've got my dogs, so I walk my dogs. I try and get out with them.
What's your dog called?
They're Annie and Luna. They're mum and daughter as well. Two spaniels. They're lovely. And I just try and catch up with housework. I know it sounds really sad, but like I have so much fun doing everything else. You know, like music and I love my physio job as well. So I'm quite happy just working on things all the time.
Good.
You know,
You
have a chill
keep him
day.
busy.
Yeah, like I try and spend a bit of time with Libby. We might go out shopping or something like that. But yeah, usually, I mean, I have one day off maybe a month from doing things.
What would you do
really.
on that day?
Just housework.
Hang out at
So
home, watch a
sad.
movie maybe.
Yeah. We had, in the summer holidays, it's quite nice. I made sure I had a few more days off, and we went to that Wake the Tiger in Bristol.
Yes, yeah. I went to that. That was amazing.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
I was like wandering about because they invited me in, and I was like, what? And then you start walking around. You can actually get lost in there.
Yeah.
And then you go all the way around, and I thought it was brilliantly put together.
It's a
Do you
great
know what I mean?
idea.
So if you are in Bristol, go check out that exhibition. Is it still on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
Wake-
I think it's a permanent thing.
Right.
They're just changing it all now as
Yeah.
well. So.
And it's run by the people that did
Boomtown.
set up Boomtown.
Yeah, so it's loads of old Boomtown set in there.
Yeah, I want to big up Tara. I want to big up Max. I want to big up Lawrence. All our people who managed to get us at Boomtown.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year will be good. We've got a couple of dates towards the end of the year. You are in tuned to Blueprint with our very special guest today, Katalyst, who's doing big things. I think it's time for you to maybe get on the decks and roll out a little mix if you want to.
Come on then.
I will be doing a little bit of hosting. I'm going to move these chairs about. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No, man, listen, we're gassed that you're even here doing what you're doing. And thank you so much. And let's get the other girls on. We'll talk about that after the show.
Definitely.
And thank you so much for an amazing interview. Testing. Off. 1, 2, 1. Maybe I just switched it off. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. As we just get ready, Katalyst in the building. It's the Blueprint. We're going to roll out for about, 50 minutes or something, 60 minutes, maybe a little bit more. Listen. This lady's going to take us on a nice little journey. Let me tell you something. Different business, do you know what I mean? Bigging up everybody right now. Oxford crew, Bristol crew, all the Southwest. Thank you very much. Do you know what I'm saying? Katalyst in the building. It's the Blueprint. Ready when you are. Nice. Please put your comments up and let's get some fire emojis for Katalyst. It's the blueprint, baby.
You know me love down ya.
Oh, some jungle business.
You know me love down ya. You know me love down ya. You know me love down ya. All jungle is and them thing there. You know me love down ya. 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 All jungle is and them thing there.
R.I.P. Rest in peace. Pussy get a coffin and them soon get the with me ball. R.I.P. Rest in peace. Pussy get a coffin and them soon get the with me ball. R.I.P. Rest in peace. R.I.P. Rest in peace. R.I.P. Rest in peace. Pussy get a coffin and them soon get the with me ball.
You know me love down ya. All jungle is and them thing there. You know me love down ya.
baseline ain't even dropped yet.
Right now, give me some more fire emojis for the Katalyst in the building. Oh my gosh. Letting off too jungle, you know. Picking up our Bristol brothers and sisters, we love you. Picking up Oxford. Picking up the Southwest. Keep those fire emojis coming. Picking up all the ladies out there. Katalyst on the decks, it's the blueprint, baby. Keep sharing the show. As we get a bit dirty and grimy, it's the Katalyst. Oh my days, here we go. As we go a bit deeper, darker.
Never let them
Some heavyweight business.
Never let them put you on your head and back your wilder.
It's the Katalyst live and direct right now on Thames Delta. Letting off to tune, you know. Oh gosh, give me some signal. Some lunchtime mix for you lot.
Never let them put you on your head and back your wilder.
As we roll this thing out with some heavyweight business.
Never let them put you on your head and back your wilder.
As we put some more love in the world. It's all about the music. Here we go.
Never let them. Never let them put you on your head and back your wilder.
What? As we let off some top low, triple D, you know, deep, dark and dangerous to us. Some bass business. If you just tune in, it's the Blueprint, it's Katalyst. Tearing up the decks right now with some heavyweight business. Here we go. Send this one out to the pedestrian, picking up Dame and May, picking up Future Free, Easy DJ Tukan, picking up Gary Swatton. Good afternoon, everybody. The pedestrians don't know. Some rolling beats from the Katalyst. It's the Blueprint, baby. As we roll out.
I got a warning for Scouts.
As we take you through the soundscapes, jungle DMP, Bombaros, Katalyst in the building. Picking up Jungle Mania. Picking up Run Teams Radio Bristol, we love you.
For tonight's party, you want to go on the B449. When you get to the crossroads, turn left towards the ridgeway. You follow the track all the way up to the top. Then, when you get to the top, you see a barn on the left. When you get to the barn, go through the barn, through the other one, and there'll be a...
Picking up Ryan Asbo.
What do you want about me? Don't do that shit anymore.
And Sam
Them
X.
parties are dead, bruv. Nowadays it's all ketamine blues and fucking hula hooping. What about this electro shit? Sweaty men rubbing up against each other? To be honest, I'd rather just rinse out that
Jungle.
Some jungle business, you know. It's the Blueprint, baby. Next gen.
We are the roughest one out from outer South Park. In the pointers we have to travel quite fast. Roughest one out from outer South Park. In the pointers we have to travel quite fast. We are gonna dash out the blood.
Sick.
We are gonna shut out the blood. We are gonna dash out
Rumble in the jungle.
Oi, mate, what that tune you played last weekend at the party? That went off, bruv. People absolutely having it, bruv. People climbing on the rig, mate. What's it called, bruv?
This is what they call an exclusive, mate.
This is the Katalyst on the decks, letting off 2 tunes. Go on a vocal one. Katalyst on the decks, tearing it up, you know. We got Thames. Absolutely filthy. Please keep sharing the show. Katalyst rinse out right now on Thames. Oh gosh. Picking up the King U.
Where don't you say goodbye?
Oh gosh. T.I., we love you, bro. Top low business. It's the blueprint, baby. Give me some signal, people.
Listen up when me say,
If you're into jungle music, the DJ seems like a natural path to follow. Back in the days, DJ were word people who liked the music in the wordplay. Back then, you all had to be a nerd to become a DJ. Nowadays, everybody wants to be a DJ. Nowadays, everybody wants to be a nerd. If you're not in it for the love of the music, would you please fuck off? Ain't no smart asses who think DJing is the easy way to get laid. Well, get a life. I wonder what jungle will be like in the future. I wonder what the clubs will be like. Now that technology has taken over the DJ world, what will the DJs be like in the future? Let's just hope that jungle music keeps its soul. Let's just hope the DJs keep their skills. Well, actually, I don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. Because it's not about how you do it, but it's about why you do it. It's all about jungle music. It always will be.
Test I and I. Level sky high like a helicopter. When you talk to me proper. Take over the old place like say that I'm a squatter. Take over the old place like say that I'm a squatter. Higher, higher, pressure them get higher. Higher, the pressure them I get higher. Higher, higher, pressure them I get higher. Higher, the pressure them I get higher. Hear me now, listen while we talk to them. All of them really want me walk with them, but me not touch this, now I'm in a par with them. Tell them fit move up, maybe I'll be target them. When me a talk, best to listen to me, y'all. Oh, them all go crazy, them like hallelujah. All the level sky high, none of them Contest, I and I.
I've been dreaming about this, I've been wanting this for time. Said if I'm gonna do it, then I'm gonna do it right. I wanna travel far and I'm gonna travel wide. I wanna go around the world, I'm gonna see all of the sights. Take off on the flight, we'll travel light on cloud 9. Climb up to the top and then we'll see the skylines. Wanna go and take a trip, I'm gonna go and live some life. We're gonna see all of the lights. Oh, city lights. Been so high. Said if you want it then you can have it. You know you got to take chances. Dream bigger than passion. Got to make the thing happen. Now we're circling around the planet. Sky high, tide traveling. Endorphins, enhancement. Last camera action. Put your light up and flash it. Don't stop, keep dancing. So many faces and places. Active, man, I'm active. I was blinded by the lights. Caught up in the madness. Now I'm lost here in the moment. Blowing up when I'm at city lights. I've been manifesting, I've been wanting it for ages. Nothing ever landed on my plate, I had to chase it. Travel for a while, but my young sounding, that's amazing. Really, I'm just gracious that I get the shutdown stages. Take up on the flag, I'm on the station.
We are watching them all so hard. Them can't stop the answer right now. We are reap the reward. Them a draw them card. Them can't stop. We are get round the world with we style regiment. Them a draw them card. Them can't stop the answer right now. We are reap the reward. Them a draw them card. Them can't stop. We are get round the world with we style regiment. Them can't stop the answer right now. We are reap the reward. Them can't stop, we are get round the world with we style regiment. Them can't stop, we are down right now, we are reap the reward. Them can't stop, we are get round the world with we style regiment. Say we a watch them all so hard. Draw them, draw them, I draw them, card. In a nothing with them, we just a reap the reward. Draw them, I draw them, card. We say we a watch them all so hard. Draw them, I draw them, card.
If we not deal with nothing, so don't try to pretend, not try to start something. Some boy, they get let it in the phone. And you know the one that is the window. And I try to pretend, I try to start something. Some boy, they get let in the phone. And I come the one that face me with nothing. Not face me with nothing. Not face me with nothing. Not face me with somebody get lit in the bottle. Now come the one that face me with nothing. Some niggas think that they try to pretend. That if the sound boy need a bulletproof vest. Me them fit out that they buy from the best. Leave them a bury and I put them to rest. You know that my thing
the place for Katalyst herself. Jungle business. 20 past the hour. 40 minutes of jungle DMV left, you know.
Some boys, they get lit in the phone. And I come the one that face me with nothing. We say we not the only way. I don't try to pretend, not try to start something. Some boys, they get lit in the phone. And I come the one that face me with nothing.
Inside the ride right now for Katalyst.
Face me with nothing. Not face me with nothing. So what you get lit in the phone.
will change as we mix and blend. Two jungle dog plates to rock from today. Some fire business right now, you know. To Run Teams Radio Bristol.
Fire, fire, fire,
If you just tune in, it's the Blueprint, baby. Special guest today, Katalyst. Send this one out to young Libby. He's probably at school right now. Your mum's on the deck smashing it up. Here we go. As we go to the 4-4. Jungle hardcore business. Don't forget you can catch me at Lost Horizon on Friday. Carousel Dance, you know. Hip hop man them. It's gonna be real funny. It's gonna be real funny.
You're looking for Katalyst every year. Make a full sky, make a bring your eye here. If I come and face Katalyst every year. With a place get so I can get a party here. Katalyst come and face, yes, it instantly. On the baseline, on the baseline, on the baseline. Yo, Katalyst, pull it! Jump the Bahamas! Hey!
Katalyst, you know. Jeez!
Hey!
Some hot beats right now.
If I don't play, you're looking for Katalyst every year. Make a full sky, make a finger and in here. If I come and face Katalyst every year. With a place get so I can need a fan in here. Katalyst come and face, yes, it instantly. On the baseline, on the baseline, on the baseline. Yo, Katalyst, pull it! Jump the Bahamas!
fire.
smoke, there's fire. Next time I'll be wiser. I can be strong again. I can be strong again. I'll keep pushing on. I am moving on without you. Days go one by one. I can be strong enough without you. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Next time I'll be wiser. I can be strong again. I can be strong again.
Baby, 29 minutes left. Stack and unpacker. It's the Katalyst, she's on fire right now. Smashing it up. bass face business.
Killer dia, yeah, real killer dia, real killer dia. Pop it off in the dia, one them in the villa, and them boy them have to run out of them fucking villa.
Picking up Mad Dub.
Yeah, yo, son of a dead, bull not head. Me don't care what someone said. What's that one? Told him my bed. Gunshot up hit them leg. Never kill them time. Give me the 9. That's why my son said.
Another dub play from Katalyst.
Cause them a break with the fed. Yo, son of a dead, bull not head. Me don't care what someone said. What's that one? Told him my bed. Gunshot up hit them leg. Never kill them time. Give me the 9. That's why my son said. Bullet fly into them eye. Cause them a break with the fed. Yeah, shut up into the talking. Man, them ready for the walking. Make a deal with clotted. Will never miss me talking. Give me the mic when I start spit. Put them on the mic when I darkest. Tell them say them love me and me sweeter than a chalk. Yeah, tell me one of them a mad Sam. Me see them on top of the rhythm, I see them on top of the version. And then they go with part to say this session of the ram. Yeah, this my sound, you can't ram. Put it bam, aye.
It's the Katalyst on the decks. Another dub play exclusive. Rolling out two tune on the blueprint.
Real killer dia, real killer dia. Yeah, real killer dia, real killer dia. Pop it off in the dia, one them in the villa. And them boy them have to run out of them fucking filler. Real killer dia, real killer dia. Yeah, real killer dia, real killer dia. Pop it off in the dia, one them in the villa. And them boy them have to run out of them fucking filler.
As we pop it off, you know. Katalyst smashing it up. Don't forget on Saturday you can catch me in Manchester 6 to 7.
Real killer dia, real killer dia. Pop it off in the dia, one them in the villa.
Katalyst, you know, just popping it off, man. What?
Into the beats, clear turn big DJs do a dangerous spin.
As we play dub play after dub play after dub play. You're in tune to the blueprint. This is the Katalyst special guest. Some bass face business.
When I enter the rave, it's clear turn big DJs do a dangerous spin.
Every selector life, every selector life, every selector life. Every selector life, done, 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 done. Every selector life, every selector life, every selector life, every selector life. Every selector life done, body done, everything done, sound clash done, argument done, from my team to another. Every selector life, every selector life, every selector life, every selector life, done, 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 done. Every selector life done, 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 done. Every selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life, every selector life done, body done, everything done, sound clash done, argument done, from my team to another. Sound very wrong. Every selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life. Every selector life done, 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 done. Every selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life. Every selector life done, body done, everything done, sound clash done, argument done, from my team. Every selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life. Every selector life done, 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 done. Every selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life, selector life. Every selector life done, body done, everything
sound of the sound will run. Every selector lights on. Every selector lights on.
It's the Katalyst in full swing. As we go through the gears, it's the blueprint, baby. Years of dread next year, you know. The next generation. Picking up all my Dreadcast regulars, a little special today, Blueprint Katalyst in the building, you know.
You reap what you sow when you live that life. This is how they live that life. Live that life. You reap what you sow when you live that life. how they live that life. Live that life. There ain't no right way and no wrong way. Whether good or bad, there is a choice made. This is how they live that life. Live that life. It don't matter what path your life takes. At the end of the day, God has the last say. Son, man, them have to live shot. If you live by the gun, then you know you have to live shot. Oi, oi, yeah, you know them have to live shot. If the cats slipping, better know they won't hesitate to lick shot. They won't hesitate to lick shot. Oi, oi. If you're born on road, you know the right thing. On the wall, prophesize to survive and pray. Money slow, the boy I focus on surviving. That's why the man them on the road are shot in night and day. I knew a guy who linked the plug to do a drug deal, but little did he know the plug, he tried to set him up. He did the deal and then he walked around the corner. They tried to rob him. That's why son, man, them have to lick shot. If you live by the gun, then you know you have to lick shot. Oi, oi, yeah, you know them have to lick shot. If the cats slipping, better know they won't hesitate to lick shot. Sitting in the hospital in a bad way. Think about revenge, I know you know them way. Looking up
Watch this space.
Me walk what? Big 4-5 in the palm. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one in ya. Big 4-5 in the palm in ya. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one? Big 4-5 in the palm. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one? Tell me what one? Tell me what one? Big 4-5 in the palm. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one in ya. Big 4-5 in the palm in ya. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one? Big 4-5 in the palm. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one? Tell me what one?
It's the Katalyst. Oh my days, what a set.
Tell me what? Big 4-5 in the palm. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one in ya. Big 4-5 in the palm in ya. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East.
Feel up the DJ Hybrid.
Tell me what one? Big 4-5 in the palm. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one? Tell me what one?
Come up to the last under 10 minutes now. You've been tuned into the Katalyst.
Big 4-5 in the palm. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what one in ya. Big 4-5 in the palm in ya. Killers from Brixton, man out to West East, man out to North in ya. Tell me what.
Someone give me an amen, yeah? Oh jeez. The Katalyst, absolutely outstanding. As we take you through the gears and the soundscapes. Make sure you follow the Katalyst and check out herself on social media. Make sure you catch some shows in the next few months.
You what, Sam?
Picking up all our guests so far on season 2 Blueprint. We've had Diligent Fingers. We've had the Blade Runner. We've had Benny L. also Envy. Now we have the Katalyst. Let's go. Some fire emojis, please. The Katalyst. The blueprint, baby. Big up our platform, Thames, we love you.
Like one, pick up the mic when we come. Two, pick up the whole venue. Three, fresh from the X and the feet, four. Pick up the mic from 4, 5, got the golden eye. 6, pick up the not the lyrics. 7, never want to know the fun. These are the rules and less. One, pick up the mic when we come. Two, pick up the whole venue. 3, fresh from the X and the feet, 4. Pick up the mic from 4, 5, got the golden eye. 6, pick up the not the lyrics. 7, never want to know the fun.
Kill all of them, we come and kill all of them. And I beg no enemy, and I beg no friend. Kill all of them, we come and kill all of them. And I beg no enemy, we not beg no friend. Kill all of them, we come and kill all of them. And I beg no enemy, we not beg no friend. Kill all of them, we come and kill all of them. And I beg no enemy, we not beg no friend. You know them dead. Half fi bust a dub, one fi bust in on them head. Bundy all of them a like a them a lamb bread. Yes, I made them run at the river run red. Bust a little shot, I wanna hear what me said. No matter if them dread or if them a bald head. Come and fi bust and fi leave them dead. It not gonna matter, we gon' put them fi bed. Listen to what the word we said. Well, kill all of them, we come and kill.
It's the Katalyst popping it off, busting it up.
Kill all of them, we come and kill.
Please keep sharing the show on all your feeds.
Kill all of them, we come and kill.
Sharing is caring. It's the Katalyst.
Tickling farmer, what them bite the dust. Simon and I think I'm a come real dangerous. When they ripe on the bass and they pick up rumpers, make the other sound, them I bite it. Not gonna like it, we not gonna trust. Some of them try for kick up us. Well, this my sound and them forget buzz. Well, I don't know, I know you know I'm real dangerous. Kill all of them, we come and kill all of them. We not beg no enemy, we not beg no friend. Kill all of them, we come and kill all of them. We not beg no enemy, we not beg no friend. Kill all of them, we come and kill all of them. We not beg no enemy, we not beg no friend. Kill all of them, we come and kill all of them. We not beg no friend.
The Katalyst. Oh my days. Some jungle business on the blueprint.
Well, a dumpling, they shoot up like a gatling a gun. Well, still some a boy, them a mock them try run. Catch him in a act and a fire a gun bun. Well, a kill any son, we a kill them for fun. Well, a dumpling, they shoot up like a gatling a gun. Well, some boy them try and a mouth them a run. Catch him in a act and a fire a gun bun.
As we go into the last few minutes of some dumpling specials, it's the Katalyst.
Kill them for fun, well a duck, little shoot up like a gatling a gun.
Denzel, baby, the blueprint. As we give you one more reason to tune in, it's the Katalyst. The Katalyst killing them. One more tune from Katalyst. Can I get a round of applause, please? Absolutely standing ovation. Extend that chest. Absolutely amazing. Oh, Katalyst, you know. Don't forget you can catch Katalyst up and down the country doing her thing. Also live streams. Picking up Thames. We give thanks to the Katalyst. Absolutely amazing. It's not easy to get up here and do this thing, you know. The pressure, playing, mixing, selection, selector. Whoa, Katalyst, you know. I can get used to this MC thing, you know. Only Jamie. There's no X-Ray or MC Ray coming. They're just doing a bit of hosting, you know what I'm saying? Big round of applause for the Katalyst. Absolutely tremendous. All the flavours taking you through the gears. It's the blueprint, baby. What? Watch out for the takeover, the Dread Takeover coming in December. Dread Takeover Christmas Bash business. Been running from 12 till 10. Picking up all my jugglers around the world. Thank you, Katalyst, we love you. God bless. Have yourselves a great weekend. Peace, we're out of here.
Jungle is on them thing there.